you when I didn't ask your funky dog face ass to come on here. Okay, cool, right? So now let's talk about when shit happens, right? You got kids with somebody, you know, whether y'all planned it, whether you didn't plan it, whether you're real about the situation your child was born out of. We're talking about baby daddies and baby mamas on here. If this don't apply to you, leave. Don't drop no irrelevant ass comments, because I'm not gonna care. And most of the people that this shit about to hit home with, they're not gonna care either. And regardless of what you think about me, ain't nobody leaving this page, right? Cool. So shit happens. Things like cheating, stuff like, you know, mismanaged emotions, assumptions being made about things you saw online. You know, you have a fight with the person about just life shit. You know, stuff just goes on that goes on with people that have different perspectives and different opinions. And it happens with parenting. The kids might do something like, you know, financial stress might cause something to happen, right? Shit happens. We know that. It's a part of life, right? Cool. So now usually what happens in co-parenting situations is shit will happen that will break or upset whatever understanding that y'all got. Now, some people from the outside looking in, we don't get y'all cockeyed, crossways understanding, but y'all get it. So cool. How y'all choose to raise y'all kid, you know, y'all structure that's set up, whether one person do more than the other, whatever you got is what you got. It's based on who you picked, and, you know, the shit you got set up based on, you know, you as a person, your character, and the other person, you know, their character, and what type of child y'all got, how many kids y'all got. It's your world, right? I'm just speaking on what occurs in general. So shit happens. It creates a loss of understanding, or it fucks with, you know, whatever y'all felt like y'all had as an understanding, right? Cool. This is where the problem starts, right? Okay, the understanding is off for whatever the situation is between you and the other person you're trying to co-parent with. Now, for women, a lot of times, and this is true for some baby daddies, but most of the time it is a fact that is true for mothers, especially mothers that are the custodial parent with the kid, like the child lives with you. As far as physical care, you know, it's a given. You put in more of that. Usually it upsets their comfortability with control. I'm grown. I'm willing to say this. A lot of women gonna get on here. What she talking about? Why she saying that? It ain't about control. It's cause that nigga don't. Whatever you feel, child, is my page. I'm explaining how I want to explain it based on what I know about psychology. So usually with us as women, it has to do with control, especially when the kids are normally in our custody. We're the custodial parent. They live with us, and we're used to making all these choices and decisions without being questioned, judged, shit like that. Y'all know I could go into a whole live regarding that, but whatever. That's what occurs, right? So for us, we start to operate from a space where, fuck, control is being lost. I run this child. I'm the one that gives most of the everyday care, so it should be more of my way than the other person's way, right? Then the emotions take over, and then most of y'all, I'm gonna be real, can't manage your emotions, right? A lot of y'all, your vocabulary is not even that big as a grown woman on what you're feeling. Not trying to down you, but woman to woman, we gonna just be real on this particular live. A lot of y'all don't even know a lot of words when it comes to emotions. You know mad, you know angry, you know hurt, you know aggravated, you know the shit that makes you look a certain kind of way. You know that. But when it comes to real shit that bitches be feeling, like jealousy at the fact that I really be doing more mental work and more with the kid than this dude. So what I'm feeling is jealousy towards my baby daddy, or resentment towards the relationship not working, or past shit, or maybe I'm feeling disappointed. Like, you don't hear baby mamas walking around saying, hey, right now in my life, I'm in a season where I am really jealous of my baby daddy because this nigga moved on with his life, and the way he did it, it disappointed me, and I'm stuck with most of the responsibility. So, hey, I'm jealous right now. You know, hoes favorite thing, I ain't jealous of nobody. A bitch ain't finna make me jealous. Hoe ain't finna say this what be going on, right? And this occurs sometimes with baby daddies too, where they jealous of their baby mamas and the growth that the kid ain't, you know, stopping them from reaching their goals. So don't get it twisted. It can be on both ends. But a lot of times with women, when some shit happens, fucks up the understanding, the control is lost, we get in our feelings. Once we get in our feelings, a lot of things start to occur based on us just being emotional. Most of the shit we feeling, we don't name it right. We won't say, hey, I'm bitter. We won't say, hey, I'm jealous. We won't say, hey, I feel some type of way because I'm extremely disappointed about blah. We won't say, hey, well, I do a lot of this stuff with the kid the way I do it because I'm afraid of judgment of other people on whether I'm a good mom or not. Shit like this, right? I'm just keeping it 1K. And like I said, don't get it twisted. There are situations where the baby daddy be jealous as well. And I'm going to explain the baby daddy side of this. I'm just explaining the baby mama side right now. So hold tight for those of y'all that like to bash the niggas. Your part is coming, girl. Just hang on. Breathe and hang on. Right? So now your emotions take over. Vocabulary ain't really that big when it come to speaking on what you feel and trying to manage it. So now the shit you do from here forward with this situation, whatever occurred, however long this little, fucked up season go on, it's done from an emotional space, right? So you say things out your mouth that come from a space of feelings. You make decisions based on your feelings. You sometimes will tell the kids stuff that have to do with simply your feelings, nothing to do with what actually is going on. Now, here is the problem. And then I'm going to switch over to talking about what happens on the baby daddy side. The problem with women be a lot of times when we get to this point, when it involves somebody we got a child with and those emotions hit you and you cannot manage it, you will say all kind of shit out your mouth that it takes a real grown woman that you are not to correct it and be able to move forward and co-parent. And this is how some of y'all fucked up y'all co-parenting situations, but you won't be real. So I'm going to be real for you. Some shit occurred. Fucked up the understanding you thought you had about what you and this nigga was doing. You feel like you're not in control anymore. You feel like you rightfully deserve that control. You ain't gonna say this, but now your emotions take over. You can't manage them bitches right. So of course you start saying things that is just from an emotional space. So a lot of y'all, whether you was married, whether it was just a baby daddy, whether it was a fuck thing, whether it was some shit where you took the money and was supposed to get an abortion and didn't, you will start to say shit where it comes out as threats, right? Has nothing to do with actually solving a problem. Has nothing to do with actually getting an understanding. Has nothing to do with balancing the shit out. It has everything to do with I'm finna hurt this motherfucker at the expense of whatever. So y'all will say shit like, well, if you do this, you ain't gonna never see your kid no more. Or we don't need you. He don't need you. My son don't need you. My daughter don't need you. You ain't shit anyway. How about this? And bitch, you ain't even got this. And that's why I had to help. We start saying shit that comes from purely an emotional space, right? So now, a grown woman can understand, even when the emotions settle, there's some things I said that cut below the belt that jeopardize my child being able to have a healthy relationship with the other parent that I need to go back and speak on. And it ain't even about you trying to fix it. It ain't even about you being wrong. It's just about you. Hold on. It's just about you from a mature, grown person space. Hold on, y'all. Let me get Facebook back right. It's just about you from a mature grown person space addressing the things that came from emotion and not from a practical thinking space. It's about the shit that you said as a reaction rather than a response, right? So the grown woman appropriate thing to do, regardless of whether the nigga, admits or speaks on any of the shit that you feel like he did wrong, it is important for the sake of understanding the assignment, which is to raise a child that has access to both parents from a healthy space, is to understand the assignment and go back and just simply speak on the shit that you said based on your feelings, not based on what's real, practical, positive, a push towards growth with our co-parenting. So some of y'all, what you should have done, what you should do is pick up the phone, type up a text, being honest. Regardless of what we sort out, regardless of where we go from here, I want you to know when I said that shit about my son being better off without a daddy, when I said that shit about my daughter not needing you, when I said that shit about I'd rather have the government be, my kid's daddy and just put you on child support than for you to be around, when I said that shit, it was irresponsible of me and it came from an emotional space. Simple. I ain't saying it's gonna solve everything. I ain't saying you got to be wrong about everything. But for that, those statements where you make decisions overall for your child having their other parent, you don't have the right to do that, bitch. That ain't right, ho. You can type all that stuff that you want to type. Y'all can do these long paragraphs, right? Don't matter. It ain't right. Some of y'all, you got to be real with yourself. I spoke irresponsibly based on the culture in which things are happening from in this country when it comes to, especially if you got a black baby daddy, especially if you grew up in a single parent household and you didn't have both parents. You're speaking from an irresponsible emotional space, and at the least you could do, bitch, and this ain't for your baby daddy, this is for the sake of your child, just to be able to actually have a clear conscience when it comes to statements that talk about having somebody X out of the picture when it comes to their kid. Y'all understand that? You was wrong, bitch. For that part alone, regardless of what happened, when you make statements like that, that is a problem. And it's an emotional statement. It's coming from a how you feel space rather than what's practical, real, and goes with the assignment. A lot of y'all got to understand, there is arguing and fighting. There is arguing and fighting, and then there are saying things that will make a person change their whole mindset and perspective towards being a parent. There is a big difference. This is when we talk about being responsible with our words, because a lot of y'all think it's cute to say a lot of the shit y'all be saying that's in this category, and you really got to be more responsible for the sake of your child. Now, you can get on this live and get offended that I'm saying it. You can screen record it, tag your homegirls, tag your mama that taught you the shit was okay because she used to do it with your dad. You can do all of that shit. It's not going to change that what I'm saying has solid facts in it. Here's what I mean. When you say things like, the child don't need you, we don't need you around, your kid will be better off. As human beings, we adapt to stuff in life, right? So, for example, you ever had that feeling where you know you finna go to jail? You get pulled over, they done found some weed in the car, or your driver's license suspended, and you know you finna go. In that moment, your mind starts to sort out and settle the concept that I'm going. So you already start to put your hands behind your back, picture yourself sitting and booking. You already start to think about, what they're gonna set the bond on as, or if I'm gonna get out on ROR. You already start to plan the next moments of your life out based on the reality that you're accepting from what's happening, right? So when y'all be with people, right, and you say this stuff, regardless of why you saying it, notice when I spoke on the shit that happens that break the understanding, that causes the, I ain't in control no more, that then turns into I'm overly emotional and I can't manage it, and then that switches into now I'm finna make these crazy statements. I never went into specific incidences because it don't matter what it occurred from. These statements like the child don't need you, we better off with just getting child support, your presence is not needed. You will make a person, yes, you make a person start doing exactly what I described, starting to adapt to what the fuck they feel like is about to be the reality. Some of y'all hoes done said this shit and you never went back and corrected that. Hey, sir, listen, I don't like your motherfucking ass, but I'm gonna be honest, I ain't mean that shit when I said Lil John don't need you and we better off with just getting child support money and you never showing your face, or you ain't gonna never see the baby again, or I ain't gonna let you get them because of that other girl. I was upset, right? I ain't saying that I'm sorry for being upset. I still think you're a dumb bitch. Cool, whatever. I'm just being real. But those statements I made about your presence not being needed, making you think that this was finna be a reality with this child support shit and all this stuff, I was out of line for that. This is just being grown. This is just being a grown woman. Y'all can type them long paragraphs and shit all you want. I'm just keeping it all the way 1K. If you said it, at some point you need to go back and be clear about where it came from. Because statements like that sit on people. Like, you finna go to jail. That shit make you start, like when a nigga get that, okay, you finna, Mr. So-and-so, you sentenced to 30 months. A bitch start wrapping their mind around, I'm finna do 30 months. So some people, when y'all say this shit, a lot of baby daddies, when y'all say this shit, you don't actually mean it. You don't actually want to see this person disappear out of the child's life. But in that emotional space that you in, that's where it came from. You need to go back and just say that. I'm just telling y'all what's real. Now, some of y'all that's forever victims and you want to make it seem like, you know, your situation is all your baby daddy fault and it's no responsibility on you. You won't get this, my sister. It won't register. You'll blame me for, you know, creating an upset by making this video. I won't give a fuck. But, you know, victims gonna do what victims gonna do, you know, based on feeling like nothing is in their control, even while they're using control to manipulate the situation. Y'all clear on this part? This make it see y'all clear. Looking at y'all like y'all looking at me. I ain't talking about that shit y'all talking about. Somebody said, can't make nobody do something they don't want to do though, especially if they can't have you, so it's bump the kid. So now listen, all this other shit y'all typing, irrelevant, right? It's irrelevant. I'm saying what I'm saying. Stay on topic. Stop veering off, child. Girl, stop typing all that stuff that don't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. Point blank period, if you said these kind of things along the lines of making it seem like your kid's father is not needed, their presence is not welcome, the child, don't stop speaking from an emotional space on serious topics like this. You want to be mad? Say you mad. You want to be hurt? Say you hurt. You bothered? Say you bothered. Or don't say you bothered. But when you say shit like this, you need to be honest with yourself about what the fuck it initiates. What is y'all talking about? Somebody on Instagram talking about, I will never beg a man to be in my kid's life. Fuck a baby dad. If y'all hurt, your hurt showing, sis. I ain't talking about that. Y'all like randomly typing y'all traumas on here. Randomly just typing y'all traumas. I ain't said shit by a baby daddy that don't want to be fucked off with their kids. That's not what I'm talking about. So when you enter rooms or lives and just start bringing up random shit, just because we on the topic of baby daddies and baby mamas, all you doing is showing your traumas. You showing where you hurt at. And you could type that you ain't hurt, but you wouldn't have typed that on a public platform if it ain't sitting and bothering you. Y'all got to learn to actually be in control of your attention. Y'all doing it on Facebook too, typing random stuff that got nothing to do with what I'm talking about just because you want to feel right and make a point about your baby daddy. It be the victim mindset for me. It be the always feeling like a bitch is talking about what the fuck you got going on specifically.